thing. All right, so we are on the practice test number 3. And I think we're ready for number 7.
Yes.
So we're going to finish this up. We did the rest of it yesterday. So everybody is comfortable with the format of Tuesday's test, right? You know you're going to have this no calculator part, and then you're going to have the part we're getting ready to do right now, which is the calculator part. So, who has an idea how to start this first problem here? This is 7A. Who has an idea how to start 7A? Go.
You will switch out 13x.
So
6x.
So he says switch it out. We call it loop-de-loo, whatever you want to, however you want to refer to it. We don't want a base 6 logarithm, so we're going to rewrite it as 6 to the x equals 13. Is there a common base for 6 and 13?
No.
No. So the only way to solve it is to take the logarithm of both sides.
Yep.
So we'll take the logarithm of both sides. And the reason that we do that is so this comes down
Yes.
in solvable position. And so to get x by itself, we'll just divide. And I talked about this yesterday, probably the day before. This is a change of base problem. So you can go straight from here to here if you remember that. This will be the log of 13 over the log of 6 every time. But I love the fact that you're working through it step by step, because that's what we have to do with our word problems. So that's it. So type it in on our calculator. Do we have rounding directions here? Thousandth, pay attention, thousandth. So log 13 divided by log 6. I got 1.432. Did you? All right. You need to stop me if you got a question, okay? Everybody good on that?
Yes.
Okay, how about the next problem?
Divide the
First we're going to divide. And if it divides in evenly, you can go ahead and divide. I mean, if you can if it's terminating decimal, you can go ahead and type it in. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it 15/4. But that would be, what, 3.75? So if you wanted to do that, that's absolutely fine. The only thing I don't want you doing is rounding it off. So if you can type it in and it terminates, that's good. I don't care. Now what?
logarithm.
Logarithm both sides. Because, once again, there's no common base, and you got to get the exponent down. The only way to get the exponent down is to logarithm it. So then x is going to be the log of 15/4 divided by the log of 3, or the log of 3.75 divided by the log of 3. And one more time, because some of you didn't do this on your quiz, what do I have to remember when I type this into my calculator?
Parentheses.
Parentheses, parentheses, parentheses. So 1.203?
Yes.
You okay? Everybody good? All right, how about this guy?
Divide by 4.
Divide by 4. So same lecture as before. If that's a terminating decimal, I don't care if you type it in. I'm just going to leave it as a fraction. But 4.25 is fine, if that's what you want to do. Now, what about this guy? What's a little bit different about this one?
That's an E, so you have to ln it.
We don't have to ln it, but lning it makes it easier, right?
Yes.
Because if we ln it,
The ln E.
that goes away, and we just have 1.3x equal to ln 17/4.
Yes.
and we divide. So once again, gotta remember those parentheses, and that's it. $1.113.
Yes.
Everybody feel okay about that? I know it's Friday morning, it's freezing cold outside, you'd rather unfortunately be anywhere but here, but we got to ask the questions today. It's our last chance. Any question about any of this? Okay, let's go to our word problems then. You've got two formulas, you're working on getting those memorized. I'm going to write them at the top of my page. So read number 1 and tell me which of these formulas I'll be using. The first or the other one?
The first one.
I'll be using that one, right? The first one.
Can you do it on my-
What's the key in the question that tells me I'll be using that one? Compounded quarterly. Compounded quarterly means n is going to be 4. All right, so here we go. How long will it take for an investment of 150? Where does the 150 go? P?
P, yes.
What's A?
300.
How do we know it's 300? They didn't tell me
Double the
that.
investment.
Double, right? The bank pays 1.75%. So right here in the numerator of this fraction is going to go 0.0175 divided by 4. And how long? That's the variable, right?
Yes.
Logarithm, well, not yet. First, I have to divide. First, I'm going to divide. So I'm going to get 2 equal to this.
Yes.
Now, this is one of the scary ones. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. One step at a time. I am solving for an exponent. I am solving for an exponent. How do I solve for an exponent? I don't fourth root to solve for an exponent. I got a log. This is different. You guys are thinking about when the variable is inside the parentheses. This has a variable that's an exponent. The only way to solve for that is to get it down. And the only way to get it down is to have it be a logarithm. So I'm going to log both sides. And the minute I do that, the minute I put the logarithm on both sides, this guy can come out in front. So the log of 2, I'm not skipping steps, I am taking my time, because I'm not going to be intimidated by this problem.
Would you divide the 4?
Okay, now, here's the deal. This is what you're solving for, right? I want to end up with t equals, right?
Yes.
Just divide by log.
So I got this number over here, and I'm going to have to divide it by 4, and I'm going to have to divide it by this, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to do that on my calculator. I'm not going to worry about writing it down. I'm going to say log 2. Okay, so this number right here, I got 0.301. Now, I need to divide by 4. So I'm just going to say divided by 4. Okay, so that's gone. I divided it by 4. So now I have 0.075.
Yes.
Now I need to divide it. So I'm just going to hit divided by this guy right here.
Log.
So log 1 plus 39.0175 divided by 4. And the answer is 39.695 years.
Yep.
Very ugly problem, but you know what to do. If the variable is an exponent, then you are going to need logarithms, period. So after you divided by the 150, you took the logarithm of both sides. That pulled the power out in front, pulled the exponent down, and then you just divided by all the junk to get t by itself. Okay? I'm not afraid. You're not afraid. We can do that. All right, B. How much will be in the account at the end of 25 years if this much is invested at this interest rate compounded monthly?
You're solving for A, right?
Yep, same formula, isn't it?
Yes.
So A is going to be 9876. Interest rate is 0.02125.
Yes.
Compounded monthly
12.
would be 12. 25 years. Is that good? So let's take care of this exponent first. What is 12 times 25? 300. Do I need logarithms?
No.
No. No, my variable's out here. I just type it in. Type it in. So much easier. I got $16,791.75. What'd you get? 7, the same thing?
Yes.
All right, last one. How long will it take for a population to grow into this if the growth constant is this? This is PERT, right?
Yes.
How do I know?
Because that's population. Or
It's population. It's not money. It's population. This formula only works with compound interest. So if it's not a compound interest formula, you're not using this one. Or if it's not a compound interest problem, you're not using this one. So it's going to be a PERT. What do I do with the 4, 5, 6, 7? That's P. That's what I start with. What's the 8888? That's the A. That's what I end with. E. R is 0.234. And T. T is what I'm looking for.
Yep.
Okay.
Divide by 4, 5, 6, 7.
Divide. Always divide first. And then because it's an E, we know we're going to ln. Now, we know we're logarithming because our variable is an exponent, right? Since there's an E, we're choosing to ln, which will wipe those out. So ln 8888 over 4, 5, 6, 7 equals 0.234t. And t will be ln 8888 divided by 4, 5, 6, 7 all over 0.234. So let's see what did you come up with.
35.8 years.
8888 divided by 4, 5, 6, 7 divided by 0.234. What'd you say?
35.8. I might be confused.
2.845.
0.008.
Okay, I didn't get any of those numbers. I got 2.845 days or years or hours or whatever my time unit is.
Yes.
Oh.
Do I need to type this in again?
No,
I got
no,
those.
you don't. That's what I got.
That's what you got? So everybody got? Okay, if you didn't get that, type it in again. Make sure you can get that. make sure you're closing the parentheses here, make sure you're typing in enough eights.
I know what I did. I accidentally subtracted over 4, 5, 6, 7 in the beginning.
Oh, no,
I didn't
right,
mean to do that.
right, okay, yeah, we know we need to divide by that number. Alright, so, everybody good with 2.845?
Yes.
Alright, so thinking about the 3 practice tests that we've now completed, is there any kind of problem you feel like, man, I know I'm gonna miss that one?
Oh, one of those LN ones, where you have to, not like these right here.
Number 8.
Oh, so he's talking about, okay, he wants to practice an equation, so I'll just make one up, something like ln, or let's say 5 ln 0.76x equals 2, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So we're solving a logarithmic equation. This is on the no calculator part, and it's just an equation. Now remember, there are 2 kinds of logarithm equations. There's the kind that looks like this, and there's the kind that looks like this. These are the only 2 kinds of logarithm equations we have. If there's only one logarithm in the whole problem, then we loop-de-loo it. So how many logarithms are in that problem? 1. We're gonna loop-de-loo that problem. That problem's gonna be a loop-de-loo. Well, before you loop-de-loo it, you gotta take care of the extra number, right? So we're gonna divide by 5. We always take care of the extra number, no matter what kind of a problem it is. Think of your word problems. You can do it in your word problems. Now we're gonna loop-de-loo. But wait a minute, there's no base in this problem. Yes, there is, it's an e. So e to the 0.4 equals 0.76x.
Yes.
So x equals e to the 0.4 over 0.76. And without a calculator, that's it, done. Okay? Who else has something on that? Look at that practice test. Emma?
Well, one of the ones that are like, where you simplify like a fraction with exponents in it.
Oh, you mean one of those big problems like
3/4.
Yeah, okay. So how about something like something like this. Okay. So first thing we do is look inside the parentheses, and we simplify each category. So numbers, x's, y's, z's, m's, whatever you've got. So the numbers don't simplify. Sometimes they do. Like if you had 8 over 6 or something, it would simplify, so you want to simplify them. These don't. Now the x's. Don't move anything. Nothing's negative. Just think. I have 3 x's on top of 5 x's. Okay, so when I cancel, what's going to happen? 2 on the bottom. It's bottom heavy. There's more on the bottom. 2 extras on the bottom. Now look at the y's. Uh-oh, there's a negative.
So you need to flip this.
So it goes to the top. It flips up to the top.
So
There's not, or 7 of them up there. I'm bringing 2 more up, so now I'm going to have 9 on the top. Everybody good so far? Now I got to cube everything. So 5 cubed is 125.
y 27.
Yes, remember these exponents get multiplied. So that's going to be y to the 27th. 2 cubed is 8. And x squared cubed is x to the 6th. So that would be your final answer. Okay, Emma? Every piece of that makes sense to you?
Yeah, but there's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Are they one of two negative?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like when the Y's are both negative?
So let's have it, let's do one that simplifies it. Okay, we got negatives all over the place, so here we go. First thing we do is take care of each category as we go. So 6/8 reduces to 3/4. Now, anything that's negative is gonna switch places, it's gonna flip. So the 3 is gonna come to the bottom, I'm gonna write it over here to the side. The 3 is coming to the bottom, but the 10 is going to the top.
Oh,
So
and then
if the
it's top
3
X.
comes to the bottom, and the 10 goes to the top, now I have a top-heavy X group. So what do I have? X to the 7
Oh,
on the top.
see, that hurts my brain. I don't know, like, I keep thinking it should be 13.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say to you. Think about this as 10 X's over 3 X's, and they're gonna cancel.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Now, Y's, don't move that one. It stays right there. But these 3 have to flip down. So 4 of them are down there already. 3 of them are coming down. So now I have Y to the 7th. And I have to square it. So I have 9x to the, remember,
14.
those get multiplied, 14.
Over 16, why is it?
That's it. That's it. That was stuff we did in class.
Can you do another problem like 8A with variable?
What am I looking for? How long will it take? Okay, yep. So let's suppose we have, we wanna know, how long to double, well, let's pick something else. Let's say quadruple. How long to quadruple investment at 3.1% compounded monthly. Okay, so that's the question. This obviously is gonna be one of your word problems, calculator problem. How long is it gonna take to quadruple an investment at 3.1% compounded monthly?
So this is where like you just make up.
So we know what formula we're gonna use, right? That's the starting point. Get your formula written down. We know it's this one because it says compounded monthly. So our N is gonna be 12.
Yes.
Now, did they tell me how much I'm starting with?
No. No.
Well, they didn't tell me how much I'm starting with, and they didn't tell me how much I'm ending with,
Yeah.
but I do know that I will end with 4 times whatever I started with.
Yes.
So pick a number.
300. I said 300.
300.
Yeah.
So if you want to start with 300, that's totally fine.
Oh no. I started with 100 and then to quadruple it.
So you started with
Oh
100,
wait, no, quadruple is.
and quadruple it would then be 400, right?
Yeah.
Now, kids, I don't want you to be confused by this. Pick whatever you want. He picked 100. That's fine. Pick 1, pick 10, pick 1,000,000. I don't care what you start with. Pick a number, and then this is going to be 4 times it.
Yeah.
My interest rate is 0.031. We already said N was 12. So that is our setup.
Yes. So then you divide by the 100 and you get 4.
So yes, to solve this, we have to do what we always do. We got to get rid of that extra number. So we're going to have 4 equal 1 plus 0.031 over 12 to the 12t. Now, where's your exponent? Up.
Yeah.
When your exponent is where's your variable? Your variable is in the exponent. When your variable is in the exponent, you're gonna have to log it to bring that down.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the logarithm of both sides. The reason you did that was to bring this down, so you can solve for it. You can't solve for it up there. So we'll have the log of 4 equal to 12t times the log of 1 plus 0.031 over 12. So it's just this with the 12t popped out in front.
And then you divide. So you
What
leave
am
the
I
T
looking
there.
for? I'm looking for t, right?
Yes.
So just like every equation you've ever solved, if you want to get t by itself, you're going to have to get rid of this number.
Mhm.
So we'll divide by 12. So I'm going to take the log of 4 on my calculator and divide it by 12. So I have 0.050.
Yes.
So I've divided by the 12, so it's gone. But I want to get t completely by itself. So what else do I need to divide by?
Log.
By that. So I'm going to hit divided by log 1 plus 0.031 divided by 12. And the answer is it's going to take 44.777 years.
Go over the exponent
Mhm. So if we have something like that, and we need to expand it, that means, since there are 3 things here, that means you're gonna have a log of x, a log of y, and a log of z. You're gonna have a separate logarithm for each thing. Okay, so now you gotta do 2 things. You gotta figure out what to do with the 3 and the 5, and you gotta figure out what signs are gonna go in here. The exponents go in front of their respective logarithm letter. So this is x cubed, so it's gonna be 3 log x. This is z5, so it's gonna be 5 log z. This is a times, so it will be a plus. That's a divide, so it will be a minus. And then the opposite of that is starting with something that's already stretched out, like 2 log x minus 7 log z, and then putting that together as a single logarithm. This is going to be x squared, that's going to be z to the 7th, and I know it's being divided because that's a minus. So these are just opposites of each other, these 2 problems. I found some old quizzes, it's got some new problems on it that I thought might be helpful to you. Just for extra practice, because how do we get good at math? By doing problems, that's right, the only way. I always say over and over again, all 4 of my kids played soccer at all levels. I've been to so many soccer matches in my life, but I'm not a good soccer player because you don't get good by watching, right? You get good by doing, so we gotta do it. So, I don't care, I'm on the side that says quiz 1, log base 2 of x equals 4. This side.
Oh, yeah.
So we should be able to roll through this. What's the answer to number 1?
16.
2 to the 4th equals x, so yep, 16. How about now, look at number 2 on that though.
Get rid of the
What do we have to do? 6, common base? Common base? So 2 to the x plus 5 equals 2 to the 4th? So x plus 5 equals 4 and x equals negative 1?
Yes.
How about this one? No calculator. What does this equal? Well, they're going to, but they have to be next to each other first. So you got it. What are you going to do with that radical sign?
Cube it.
No, you can't cube it. What does a cube root represent? A fractional exponent. What
So it'd be-
exponent is cube root? 1 over 3.
Yeah, 1 over
So this is e to the 1/3.
Yes.
So the answer is 1/3. Yes, L and E will always cancel when they're touching each other, but if there's anything in the way, you have to get rid of it. Radicals are fractional exponents, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, down at the bottom, what's your thought on that number 1 down there at the bottom? You got a loop-de-loop. Kids, if there's one logarithm in the problem, you're going to loop-de-loop it, okay? If it's an equation with one log, so 7 to the 2nd equals 2x minus 1. 49 equals 2x minus 1. 50 equals 2x, so x must be 25. (16 to the negative 1/2). So it would be 1/16 to the 1/2, which means the square root of 1/16.
Yep.
Which means 1/4. Kids, you're gonna get good if you practice. You've got to know radicals are fractional exponents, and you gotta know that when you have a negative, you need to flip it. All right, what about that last guy? Oh, this looks very hard. Log base 7 of the 5th root of 49.
Change it to 49.
Oh, we can do that. So the log base 7 of 49 to the 1/5. That's certainly true. Absolutely true. Loop-de-loo it. So 7 to the x equals 49 to the 1/5. Well, this is a no calculator problem. So if I had a calculator, x's exponent, definitely I could log. But there's something special between 7 and 49, so I don't really need a calculator. This is 7 squared. So if you're on the no calculator part of the test, kids, you're going to look for common bases because you're not going to be allowed to log.
What if you were to solve, like, 49? What if you were to get 7 to the 2/5?
Well, it's actually 7 to the 2/5.
Oh, well, since.
So 7 to the x
squared,
equals
yeah.
7 to the 2/5.
Okay.
So x is going to equal 2/5.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, so the answer is 2/5. Because 7 to the x equals 7 to the 2/5. So x has to be 2/5. Okay, how about the other side? Oh, are these the same? No. The first one looks like a similar problem. What's the answer to A? I'm on the back side now.
16.
So for problem A, is everybody with me? 4 to the 2nd, 16? What are you gonna do with this one? Come on now.
Set it equal to x, well, since it's the star is 3, you'll get
This
x
will be
minus-
3 squared.
Yes. And you'll get x minus 2 equals 2.
So x minus 2 equals 2, and x equals 4. Don't you dare cancel that ln and that e, because there's something in between them. You gotta get rid of that something. 1 over 2. A square root is a 1/2 power.
So it's just
Square root equals 1/2 power, right?
Yes.
So now they cancel, and the answer is 1/2. So 5 to the first equals x plus 2.
Yep.
So 3. Emma, you following along?
Me, Emma?
You, Emma. Yeah, I'm just checking in. You're being kind of quiet. Just want to make sure you're still awake. All right, how about this guy? We know what to do.
Flip it.
Flip it, so it's going to be 1/9 to the 3/2. Which means the square root of 1/9 cubed.
127.
So the square root of 1/9 is 1/3, and 1/3 cubed is 1/27.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, this looks terrible.
This is not bad.
That's not
Okay, so wait a minute. Okay, so Jalen said change that to 36 to the 1/3.
Couldn't you just
And
take
then
6
we do
squared times 1/3?
Well, that's
To
what's
the
gonna
1/3
happen.
power?
Yes, you can, Evan. That's exactly what's gonna happen here, because 36 is 6 squared
Yes.
to the 1/3. So we're gonna have 6 to the x equals 6 to the 2/3.
Yes.
So your answer is 2/3. Now, if all that's floating around in your head when you look at this problem, that's fine. This is the work behind it, but yes, the answer comes out to be 2/3.
Yeah.
3a, what is the initial value?
3.
3. What is the rate of increase or decrease?
4%.
4% increase.
If you put 4%
4%.
growth, exactly.
Perfect. What do I do with b?
Other base.
Common base. So we have 3 cubed and 3 squared.
Yes.
What do I do with these exponents?
Multiply.
Multiply them and set them equal. So 3x equals 2x plus 2.
X equals 2.
X equals 2.
On C, what's that last number?
I don't know, let's make something up. Let's make it a 5. So log base 6 of x plus 3 equals log base 6 of 2x plus 5.
You can cancel the log.
They don't get any easier than this, do they?
You can cancel the log.
Yeah, I mean, this is as easy as it comes. So x plus 3 equals 2x plus 5. So negative x equals 2. I got negative 2, did you?
Wait, couldn't you like?
Couldn't you just subtract the X and subtract the log?
Don't you get x equals negative 2?
I thought that was subtraction at the end there.
I just made it up. I couldn't read that
Oh.
number, so I said plus 5. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
Okay, I thought it was subtraction.
We're just practicing the problems. It doesn't matter. So did you get x equals negative 2?
Yeah.
All right, now make sure you check for extraneous roots. If I put a -2 in here, that's fine, because it's still positive. What if I put a -2 in
They're
here?
also fine.
Fine, so that's the answer. All right? Well, that's all the practice work I got. So what do you think? Are you ready?
I'm about to ace this.
Okay, then what I want to do is hand back your last test. We'll get that handed back. Stickers handed out.